Hey, you unemployed bum. How long are you staying? Because of you, our family's budgets are under pressure.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Aren't you accidentally texting someone else? I'm not mistaken. I'm talking to you, my low-life daughter.
If that's the case, why don't you text Mark? He's the unemployed one.
Mark is not unemployed. That boy is always going somewhere. So he can't possibly be unemployed.
What kind of understanding is that? He's always going out, so that means he's working? Then is that man bringing home any money? If he's not, it doesn't matter whether he's working or not.
Don't make fun of your brother. He's probably working hard. He doesn't have to do anything. He's our eldest son. He's going to take care of us someday.
Oh, okay.
So he doesn't have to do anything now. Also, he's probably going to marry a pretty girl and give us cute grandchildren one day. He's not like you.
I don't know why you're comparing him to me, but I work from home. I even put in money. So why do I have to be called an unemployed bum?
A shut-in and an unemployed bum are the same things.
I work from home and earn money. Before you misunderstand and decide that I'm unemployed, why don't you have a long walk with your dear son? He needs to become more independent, or he's going to be in trouble.
What do you know? Don't act like you know everything.
I don't mean to act like I know everything, but if you really want me out of the house, you better talk to Dad first. He asked me to come back home.
About that, your father says he doesn't recall saying that.
What?
When I talked to him about kicking you out, he didn't disagree. He said that's fine.
What? Are you sure? Aren't you guys taking this a little too lightly? You should really talk about it. Like about what you're going to do moving forward.
You should think about what you're going to do. You need to quit depending on your parents for support.
There's no support to receive in the first place.
A woman who can't get married is useless. I thought you would get married and finally move out. If I left things as they are, you will always be living here. The electricity bills are through the roof, you know?
Yeah, that might be true. I have to stay at home, and I use 2 computers to work.
Nobody needs you. I'm saying you're a useless person. Shouldn't you realize that by now?
That's no way to speak to your own daughter. What are you going to do when I move out?
Mark will provide for us.
Huh? How? He doesn't even have a real job.
Your father still works, so there won't be a problem. You're the problem. Our luck runs out when you're here. Go out sometimes.
Fine, I'll go out. But shouldn't you talk to the family first? You're sending me all of these texts, but you should talk to the others too.
Don't tell me what to do. I don't want to look at your face. That's why I'm trying to do everything by text. You're useless. We don't need trash in this family.
That's crossing the line. In any case, if you wanted that much, I'll leave. Dad, you haven't talked to Mom yet? It's gonna be a year now.
What are you talking about?
Don't act dumb. You know what I'm talking about. The reason why I needed to move back home.
I don't plan on talking about that.
Wait, are you serious? You can't keep hiding it from her. You haven't told her what's going on with you?
You're a real pain in the neck. That's why you're not the favorite. I'm so relieved that I don't have to look at your face anymore.
What? What do you mean?
I wasn't supposed to tell you this, so I can't.
You already said that much. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but you need to talk about it before you do anything stupid.
You're surprisingly out and about today.
Because you keep nagging me to get out of the house. So I've been getting out of the house more often. I'm on vacation right now. What's the matter?
So you're not coming home? What a shame.
A shame? I didn't expect to hear that from you. Why?
It's a shame today won't be the day that you'll come home. And we won't be there anymore.
What?
Our family moved out when you were gone. We don't live there anymore. I'll give you that old house. Consider it an inheritance, so be thankful.
I really don't understand. What are you talking about? What inheritance? That house has no value. You bought an old house, then lived in it for 30 years. That house is so old, it has no market value. You're just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, that might be true. Honestly, we don't want a daughter who doesn't even work.
I told you to say that to Mark.
Mark will be working for a good company, you know.
Oh, really?
So we don't need your help anymore. Well, I don't recall you ever helping us anyway.
I thought so. You haven't talked to Dad, have you?
What are you trying to say? We're cutting all ties with you. We can't keep taking care of you anymore. We chose a time you were out of the house and moved. A bum like you deserves to be in an old house alone and sad.
Okay, good luck.
Look at you, trying to act so tough.
I don't remember you taking care of me. It's fine. I was wanting to cut all ties with you anyway. It's good timing, to be honest. Don't bother me anymore. About the house, has the name of the title deed been changed to mine?
What?
It's no use talking to you. I'll just have my accountant take care of the paperwork. I'm telling you now, it'll be too late to come running back to me.
There's no way I'm living in a house like that. I don't plan on ever going back. I don't plan on seeing you again either. Goodbye then.
Got it. Even if you want your house back, it's too late.
We're going back home on the weekend. That's fine, right?
Huh? Who is this?
Stop messing around. We're coming back. The house is probably a mess since you messed it up. But we're coming home on the weekend, so clean it up before then.
What are you talking about? There's no place for you to come back to.
What?
We've cut off all ties. And this is my house now. There's no place for you guys to come home.
That house is your father's. Why don't you get that?
Have you lost it already? A few months ago when you moved out, you changed the name on the deed to mine.
Did I? But you need to change that back immediately. We plan on coming back.
I told you there's no place for you to come back to. There's no way you're getting it back. It's too late to be regretting it now.
Hold on. Are you being serious? That's our house.
Not anymore. There's no sign of that old, filthy place here anymore.
What?
That day, I was secretly thrilled. You were excited to see me so shocked, though.
You weren't shocked? You were burdened with your family's baggage. There's no way you weren't shocked.
Well, a normal person would be. But I have money.
What?
I redid the house to make it nice. I also got to cut all ties with you, so I'm so happy. I turned the extra space into a guest room that I'm leasing out. I get to make extra money while working from home. It's the best. I got the idea from this. To buy old houses and flip them. So that's what I'll be doing.
I don't understand. So you're letting people live in our house?
Don't misunderstand anything. This is my house now.
So that means we can't go back to it? Why are you abandoning your family?
You're the one who tried to abandon me first.
What did you say?
That's the truth. You make fun of me and look down on me. It's been over a year since Dad lost his job, but you never noticed.
What? You knew about that?
Of course I knew. Since Dad couldn't provide for the family, he asked me to come back home. So I had no choice but to go back to that dump.
Really? I didn't know that.
That's why I told you many times to go talk to him. He forbid me to say anything. He said he would get another job. But a 60-year-old nearing retirement who got fired for a scandal wouldn't be hired by anybody, right?
A scandal? He didn't just quit?
If so, he would have been paid retirement money. If only you would just think a little bit.
We can't even afford the rent at our new place. Mark became so stressed only after 1 month of working that he became so depressed and won't come out of his room. We won't be able to pay rent, and your father says he doesn't have any more money.
I mean, when Dad agreed to move, didn't you notice that he wasn't working then?
That's true.
That's what I mean. Well, even if you're in trouble and you want to come back, I reject you. The house is in my name now, and I have cut all ties with you. If you try to come in, I'll call the police for trespassing.
Trespassing? That was our home for 30 years.
And you forced that on me. I'm very grateful to have received it. You guys don't have any rights. It's your own fault, right? Well,
Good luck being homeless.
goodbye forever. The mother, Charlotte, didn't give up and kept calling, and ended up coming to the house. But the daughter, Maya, actually called the police. She was arrested for trespassing and was taken in for questioning. In the end, Charlotte's family lost their house, and the husband started getting dementia and needed care. The son, Mark, was too depressed to work. Charlotte was at the point of being homeless, but managed to find a job and move into an old apartment. She now works long hours to provide for her family. She says she should have listened to Maya and regrets it every day. But it seems she was too late.
Hey, Dad.
Stevie, my girl. I was going to text you earlier today. How's your vacation with your mom?
It's not much of a vacation when it's with Mom. You know that better than me, Dad.
How's your mom doing these days?
She's okay. Her husband is a bit of a jerk. So are their kids. Spoiled little jerks. But I'm looking forward to being back on the East Coast with you and Pam soon.
Me too, honey. Listen, Stevie, I don't want this to sound weird at all, but are you seeing anyone at the moment?
Seeing anyone?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Romantically?
Yeah.
You know what, Dad? That is a weird thing to ask, but you're kind of a weird guy, I guess, so I'll let you explain. Why are you asking that?
Well, I don't really need to give you the whole birds and bees speech. You're a clever woman, but I've noticed that you've never brought a guy back here, like, maybe ever.
Oh, you've noticed that, have you?
Yeah, and you know what I'm like. Always thinking about the future. I'm not as young as I used to be. And with Pam not wanting any kids, you're my only daughter. So...
Oh, I see which tree you're barking up. The grandkids tree. Dad, I've just turned 18. I'm not even thinking about a boyfriend at the moment. Never mind kids. And you're not that old. You're in your 50s, Dad. 50s are the new 40s. And 40s are the new 30s. So according to that logic, you're in the prime of your life. But for now, my priority is college. I need to study hard and get into college. Then you never know. I may meet the man of my dreams at college. Or woman.
I was going to ask, actually, if you preferred girls.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what my preference is, Dad, because frankly, this whole conversation is making me feel icky.
I'm sorry, Stevie. I don't really want to have this conversation either, but I have to.
Why? Why do you have to, Dad?
Well, you know my friend Dan.
Yeah, the guy who owns the casino? Your college roommate?
Yeah. Well, Dan has a son about your age.
I know. His son is a total jerk. He's called Cody. Smokes pot and runs around with a load of other jerks.
Yeah, that's the impression I had of the kid too. But Dan assures me that his son is really a sensitive guy, a sweetheart. But he hasn't had that much luck in the romance department, and by the sound of it, he's always been fond of you, Stevie.
Ew.
Don't be so dismissive, Stevie. Listen, take it from your old man. If you always remain closed off, and you judge people too easily, then you're going to miss out on some very special relationships in your life. Do you think Pam and I immediately fell head over heels in love with each other?
No, you met her in AA.
Exactly. That's not the most romantic place to meet someone, and it's not like we gave each other much of a chance to begin with. We were both in recovery, but we did. And look at us now, happily married.
I guess so.
I know so. So what do you think?
About what?
About Cody, of course. Do you think you could give him a chance?
Dad, I haven't so much as exchanged one word with Cody in my life. I go out of my way to avoid having a conversation with the guy. What are you asking here?
Well, Dan thinks you're a great girl. So do I. Exactly the kind of girl that can turn a boy's life around. Dan and I think the two of you would be a great match.
Well, I think the two of you, yourself and Dan, are insane.
We only want you to give the boy a chance.
What are you saying? What do you mean, a chance?
A date. Give him a date.
Dad, I wouldn't consider a date with Cody even if he asked me about it. The fact that you're asking me on a date for him makes it even creepier and weirder, so my answer is no. I'm not going on a date with Cody. You will have to talk to your former roommate about something else. Something that middle-aged dudes like to talk about. I don't know, football or something. Just don't ever talk about me going on a date with Cody again, please.
I'm going to have to put my foot down on this one, Stevie. Dan is very adamant that you and his son at least go on a date. You'd be helping me out a lot. Please.
Helping you out?
Yes. Dan has been very good to me over the years. He helped me out of a lot of bad places. I said I'd talk to you and set this thing up as a personal favor.
I'm not doing it, Dad. I'm sorry, but this is America, okay? We don't do this arranged marriage thing over here so much anymore.
I'm not talking about marriage. I'm talking about a date, okay? And please remember, if college is your priority, I hold the keys to that ambition.
What do you mean by that, Dad?
Who's paying for your college tuition, Stevie? I am. Not your mom. Me.
Why are you being like this?
I told you, I owe Dan a favor. So if you want to go to college next year, you're going to go for a burger with Cody. Okay?
You're being weird. I'm going now. Bye, Dad. Hey, Pam. Do you have a moment to talk? Hey, Stevie. Sure, anything for you, dear. Are you with Dad? Not currently, dear. Your father is at work. Good, because I need to be up front with you and I don't want him there looking over your shoulder. Okay. What is it, Stevie? Is everything okay? Everything's swell on my end. Well, apart from having to spend time with my mom and her annoying family, that is. But no, I was going to ask you the same question. Dad's been acting kind of weird lately, don't you think? He has? Yeah. Weird how? Well, Dad's always kept himself to himself. He's a private kind of guy. And that's one of the main reasons why we get along so well. He's not like Mom, who's so intrusive and acts like she knows the best about everything. I couldn't wait to move in with Dad after my parents divorced. Spending years living with my mom and her new husband was nauseating. And when Dad recovered and met you, I thought, finally, I can move to the East Coast and go to school there. Dad's so relaxed and always lets me get on with my life without leaning on me too heavily. I could date who I wanted or not date at all, and I wouldn't be lectured about it like Mom would like to do, but yesterday that changed. What changed? He hasn't told you? No, dear. Well, we fell out, Dad and me. He was being weird, asking me if I was planning on dating anyone or if I was into girls. Of course, I told him he was being weird, but then he said he'd been talking to his friend Dan about me. You know, his old roommate from college. He owns a casino now, and he basically has agreed with Dan to set me up on a date with Dan's weird son. This pot-smoking weirdo called Cody. He goes to my high school, but I've never so much as spoken to him in my life. In fact, I avoid the guy on purpose. So I told Dad to stop being weird and to back off, but he was so persistent. It was so out of character for him. He even said he wouldn't pay my college tuition fees if I didn't go on a date with Cody. He said he owed it to Dan. That somehow Dan thinks that I'm going to turn his son's life around, so he's not such a layabout weirdo anymore. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life, so I just wanted to know if I need to know anything. Obviously, I'm not going to go on a date with this Cody guy, but I don't want Dad to pull the plug on my college tuition if I don't. Listen, Stevie, your dad would never do anything that wasn't in your best interests. If he thinks this Cody guy is a good match for you, then he's probably right. What? Come on, Pam, you're not on his side, are you? Surely you can see that this is all crazy. Your dad only has your best interests at heart, Stevie. It's only a date. You just have to go for a burger with the guy. You never know, you might actually like Cody if you gave him a chance. Do I not have a say in this at all? Like, what is going on here? You're both acting so strangely. Have you both started drinking again? How dare you suggest that, Stevie? Your father and I are both 10 years sober. Your dad just wants you to go for a burger with this guy as a favor. You're not being asked to marry him. It's just a burger. But it's not just a burger, is it, Pam? It's the fact that no one has told me why it's so important that I go on a date with Cody yet. I just have to take it at face value that it's in my best interests that I do. Why is it in my best interests? You haven't told me why. And Dad hasn't told me why. So how can something be in my best interests if I don't know how it will serve my interests? You just have to trust your father. No, I don't. I think I know what I'm going to do, Pam. I'm going to find out why it's so important I go on a date with Cody. And if no one is going to be transparent with me, I guess I'll find out from someone who will be. Who? Why, Cody, of course. Maybe he knows something I don't. Bye for now, Pam, and... Cody? Who's this? It's Stevie from school. Stevie? What's going on? How have you got my number? I got it from a friend of mine, but it doesn't matter how I got it. I need to talk to you about something, and hopefully you have a better idea about what's going on than me. Okay, I'm intrigued. What's going on? Well, a couple of days ago, I got this weird message from my dad. I don't know if you know this, but your dad and my dad were, like, best friends or something in college. They were roommates. And they've been doing a lot of talking lately by the sound of things. Oh, yeah! Yeah, they want us to... Go on a date? Yeah, how did you know? Listen, Stevie, you're not the first person my dad has tried to set me up with in my life. Well, not the first girl, anyway. I'm not? No. Listen, my dad is, well, conservative. And he knows what I'm like. What are you like? I'm his only son, and it's very disconcerting for a man such as himself to learn that your son... Well, let's just say I'm not like the other guys in school. Or maybe I am. You're confusing me, Cody. Okay, I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't like dating girls, Stevie. I'm gay. I like boys. And my dad can't seem to wrap his head around that. So he thinks if I go on a date with you, I'll turn you straight or something? Deep down, I know he knows that will never happen. He's not stupid. But he's going to try and try until he can't anymore. Until I'm old enough that I don't need to be bossed around by him anymore. You said I wasn't the first person he's tried to set you up on a date with. Nope. Listen, Stevie, you said your dad was friends with my dad? Yeah. They were college roommates or something? Yeah. Yeah, well, my dad has had quite a lot of these college roommates. What do you mean? My dad runs a casino, Stevie, and a lot of people owe him money as a result of their little hobbies. Now, some of these people knew my dad in some capacity, and over the years, my dad has offered them a little ultimatum. Or incentives, if you will. If they've owed my dad more than they can pay back for one too many poker games, then instead of refinancing their house, my dad asks them if they have other ways of repaying them. And one of those ways is to set their daughters up on a date with his gay son. Don't ask me why. But clearly making me straight matters more to my dad than thousands of dollars in unpaid loans. My guess is that your dad has asked my dad to loan him a lot of money, and your dad can't pay it back. So now it's either go on a date with you or see you later college tuition. Oh my god. My dad is a horrible person. He's a loan shark. He's a criminal. And he's always got his way in life. Me being gay is the only thing he hasn't been able to control. But he's going to try his hardest to change that. So if I go on a date with you, then my dad will write off your dad's debts to him? Probably not. My dad always gets his money, somehow. My guess is that the favors won't stop there. It'll be your dad's car next. It's because my dad knows what your dad is.
And what is that?
He's an addict, Stevie. My guess is that your dad is addicted to gambling. I've gone on so many of these dates. The girl turns up or texts me beforehand asking me the same questions, and I tell it to them in plain terms. That I'm gay and their dad is a gambling addict that owes my dad money. And sure enough, it always ends the same way.
What way?
Months later, their parents are divorced, their fathers have moved out of their homes, which have been put up for sale. Their dad has filed for bankruptcy. It's awful. I hate seeing it. I hate being part of my father's awful games.
But is there a chance that if I go on a date with you, my dad's problems will go away?
No. Your dad's problems will only go away if he gets help for his addiction. If he stops gambling before it's too late. I guess you're going to have to talk to your dad. Get him to come clean to you. You can be the one to help him, Stevie. In my experience with addicts, the only thing they love more than their addictions is their children.
Oh my god. Thank you for telling me, Cody.
I hope you get this all sorted, Stevie.
You too, Cody.
I'm just counting down the days until I can leave this town and my father behind.
I hope your life changes for the better, Cody. I truly do.
Same here. Take care, Stevie. See you at school, I guess.
I confronted my dad about his gambling addiction and he came clean to me. He owed Dan money and had been placed in a terrible position. He was terrified that he would have to spend some of my college tuition on repaying his debts to Dan if I didn't go on a date with Cody. Luckily, after refinancing some of his assets, he could pay off his debts to Dan, and Pam and I got him to go to rehab for his gambling. He's in recovery now, and I'm in college. I never heard from Cody again personally after high school, but from mutual friends, I hear he moved far away from his dad and is living out on the West Coast.